I feel like it's happened to just about everybody where you have a getting lost story. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. His radio Brian sitting in for Rob this morning.
Annette, it happened to Annette. She her Google Maps went down. She was on a back road. It was dark. She knew she had to make a turn across some railroad tracks. Well, she kind of missed it and went into a driveway, and it was angled kind of funny. So half her car got into the driveway. The other half stuck up on the railroad tracks, and she was stuck.
That's awful.
Couldn't get moved.
I have followed my family. A couple of years ago, we were going to cut down a Christmas tree up in the mountains.
Oh, no.
So, and this was, I guess, as Google Maps and Waze wasn't even around, I don't think, at that point. And so, we're just following what it says to do. And it's like, okay, take the right, take the left. So when we take a right, we end up in a parking lot. Mm-hmm. Well, if we would have taken a left, mind you, this is the mountain, we would have gone over a cliff.
Oh, no.
So that's when we were like, we're never trusting these maps again. I use them all now. So, we didn't get lost, but we could have gotten injured.
What were the things you used to print off? What was that?
MapQuest.
MapQuest. Well, I used to drive my wife crazy because I would print. We were going somewhere, and I'd print out directions going, and I would just say reverse it on the way back. I can't reverse it on the way back. She wouldn't. I'd have to print them out both ways.
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
God.
you can't. All you got to do is the opposite.
Read it backward,
and
sort of.
No, man.
Well,
no.
and I get it. She needed it the way she needed it, so that she didn't get lost. But your lost story, I know you may have one. 800-447-7234.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
Oh, I remember as a kid, my daddy getting us lost. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. His radio, Brian sitting in for Rob this week. So he got us lost. We would travel from here to Ohio. That's where my grandparents lived. And I don't know what happened. I just know I woke up at some point, because you fall asleep when daddy's driving. So I woke up at some point, and we're in downtown somewhere. No idea. And it was dark, late at night. And my dad was like, I know where I'm going. And my mom's like, you don't know, Jim, where are we? And he's just, I know exactly where I'm going. He did not know.
Yeah.
He did not. He told us later, I had no idea where I was going. So, but, he kept it strong for the rest of us. We were freaking out, but yeah.
Pat, what happened?
When I was 21 years old, I worked for a bank here in Charlotte, going downtown for some training at the Federal Reserve. So my best girlfriend, Joyce, and I went down the Sunday before to just figure it out, because that was before all of these map things. We didn't even have cell phones at that point. Figure out where I was going the next day, right? Somebody had written down some directions, but they weren't exactly correct. Going downtown, and we turned right where the person said to turn right, and next thing I noticed is 3 sets of car headlights coming toward us. And I'm like, I look at George, I'm like, oh, no, this is not good. We're going the wrong way on a one-way street. And Jason's laughing, and so I speed up and duck off on the side street. Well, this policeman follows me, and he pulls us over, and he says, driver's license, registration, blah, blah, blah. He's looking, shining the lights in our eyes. And he goes, you're going the wrong way on a one-way street, don't you? And I said, yes, sir. I kind of figured that out when I saw the headlights coming toward us. And he said, what are you doing? And I told him, and he goes, He goes, how long have you been living in Charlotte? And he said, what? I said, 21 years. He goes, you don't get downtown much, do you? Laughing, I'm like, at least he's having fun with us. He said, okay, this is where to go, blah, 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 and told us how to get there. He said, please be careful. Don't come downtown.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
I still remember the number.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My grandparents' phone when I was a kid growing up, I haven't had it. Yeah, my grandmother passed away 22 years ago.
Say
so 252-7123.
Okay.
Because it's kind of easy. It goes,
Yes.
7123. So.
226-8640.
Oh.
That was my parents when I was younger.
Yeah.
And they had it. They had it forever. Obviously, I don't have it anymore, but they had it forever. I don't know anybody's number now.
I don't either. I mean, because you run into somebody and it's like, hey, here's my digits or whatever.
Yeah.
And they call you and then you save it and
Right.
you put the contact information in your phone and,
I don't even do that. I just say, call Joey.
Oh, do you really?
Call Taylor.
Okay, I got you.
Because it's, I let Siri do the dialing for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was, I guess, a video that came out recently.
Like a phone that's for the whole family that stays in the house.
I have now realized just how old I am because in the video they're explaining about how convenient it would be if there was an invention as to where it was just like one phone and it was in the house for the entire family to use in case of emergency. And everyone in the comments are like, that's a fantastic idea. That's a landline phone.
His mind is blown.
Yeah.
Because so what is happening in that video? The girl is coming up with an idea.
Yeah.
She is basically, and it does not seem like a joke. It seems like she has the greatest invention that has ever come to this world. And it is a phone that is dedicated in the house.
for the family.
Everyone can use it.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to have a cell signal.
So, Jake, Ninja,
Our morning show producers.
do you remember landline phones?
Of course.
Did you have one in your homes, or is this like maybe grandparents had it?
Ninja, go first.
I was in my parents' house growing up, and we had one of those answer machines, and we would run into my parents' room and listen to who was leaving a voicemail and see whether we felt safe to pick it up or not, to talk to them.
I have one in my personal house, and then my grandma still has one.
She still has a landline?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I know that, there are landlines still.
My mom still has one.
Really?
Yes, uh-huh.
My mom does not. We do not. But when you talked about the answering machine, Ninja, my mom, when voicemail started on the cell phones, she would call the voicemail on the cell phone, and she would say, "Elizabeth, pick up! It's your mother." I'm like, that's a voicemail.
She thought you could hear that.
She thought I could
and-
hear, but and I would say, it's not an answering machine, and it continued for probably 2-3 years. Elizabeth, pick up, it's your mother.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
You know who
I do
still
know.
has a landline? Lisa.
Lisa does?
Lisa texted and said she still has a landline. Because we're talking about that, like the telephone.
Yeah, well, there was a video, and this girl's like, it's the greatest, she's got the greatest invention ever, a phone in the house that the whole family could use.
She
and-
thinks she came up with it.
Yeah, this guy's like, it's a landline.
Right. And he's like, and he's probably 29 years old, but he's like,
Yeah.
I just feel so old
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she has never heard of this. All right. Marcy said, my parents had a landline and no call waiting. Dad would be on a call and we could only be on the phone for 1 minute. She actually still has her mom's answering machine and she'll take it out every now and then and just play the message so she can hear her mama's voice. I love that. Linda texted 800-447-7234. She said, so what we were talking about reminded her of her mom and them getting their first DVD player. So they watched a movie and then somebody in the family took the DVD out of it and mom was like, how'd you rewind it so fast?
They were kind and rewound.
Right. And
Wind.
she never understood the concept of how that worked.
Susan, what happened?
My brother-in-law, sweetest man in the world, he's hard of hearing. So on his answering machine and then on his voicemail when he got that, the message was, hello? I can't hear you. You need to speak up. Hello? Oh, well, just leave a message.
I hated those.
It would get people every time.
And you just feel kind of not smart when you were like, hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Especially the fourth or fifth time you called it. It would get his mother. It would get my mother-in-law every single time. And every once in a while, I would call Kathy, and she would say, if Tim doesn't change that answering machine, I'm going to strangle him.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So Haley and her, I guess, soon-to-be, very, very soon-to-be husband, Austin, they were going through the vows. They were getting married. Beautiful, beautiful dress, buttoned up the back, which I always think is so gorgeous. Like the fabric-covered buttons. Oh, my goodness. So anyway, she's getting married, right?
Yeah, but.
Go ahead.
But then the bridesmaid goes, there's a bee in your dress. Not in your bonnet. But it got into the back of her dress.
In the back of the dress. And so her dress is sort of sheer in the back, but it has these lace appliques, right? And so you can kind of see the back. You can kind of see. So they're now looking for the bee.
Yeah.
The soon-to-be husband is taking care of the buttons and trying. The bridesmaid is putting her hand down the back of the dress, trying to. And I got to give it to the bridesmaid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm out.
You're out?
I'm not finding a bee.
It's not just any bee. It's a hornet.
It's a hornet.
It's a hornet.
Hornets get angry.
They're angry bees.
They wake up angry. They wake up and they're like,
they're always on the
yawn,
wrong side of the
then,
bed.
Right?
Always,
right?
yes.
They wake up, they yawn, and then they're like, it's on. Who can I sting today?
Yeah.
And so that's what's happening. And she is keeping it together pretty well.
But Austin was going like, just breathe, honey. And he's keeping her calm as well.
He is, and I love that he's there for her, and more. He's physically trying to help, but he's also emotionally there for her. But I can't imagine. I'm looking into the future. 10 years from now, another hornet maybe gets in her shirt, and when he says calm down, Austin, that's not the way to go with that.
So you don't think it'll work after 10 years? You don't think she'll go back to the wedding day and go,
might.
Oh, I just be nice and calm because Austin said be nice and calm.
I just know what happens when someone tells me to calm down. It usually doesn't go well.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Marcus started a company back in October of last year. He said, I like snacking. I like pretzels. Let's do a company. And
really?
So he started his own company. Marcus is 29. He has autism. And so he says, I love my parents. He's worked at a grocery store in the past. But he said, I just want to be more self-sufficient and live on my own. He said, I like pretzels. And so he started up his own company. He sold several hundred bags. Business is kind of booming. And there's several stores in his area, I think the Baltimore area, that are carrying his pretzels now.
Wait, so does he make his own pretzels or does he outsource that, I wonder?
I would say right now he outsources them, but he's come up with flavors like cinnamon sugar, Maryland crab. That's when I knew he had to be from like Baltimore. Maryland crab, garlic ranch buffalo, and smokehouse ranch. And so I even checked out his website. It must be booming for him because there's like a 7-day processing fee on all.
Oh my
goodness. So he said, please understand and be patient. But this is what he would love to do in the future, because that's why I think he's outsourcing right now. He would love to get a commercial kitchen and get others with autism and disabilities to work for his company, and they could make the pretzels there.
And he knows what it did for him as far as having that self-sustaining job. And but he's just been over successful, he's over the top.
Killing it with the pretzels. Do you like pretzels?
I do. And I'm thinking, what was it, Maryland crab?
Maryland crab.
Nah. But the cinnamon sugar and the smokehouse ranch.
I'm thinking the buffalo for me.
Sound like buffalo. Okay, but we can get a variety pack, and you have those two, and I'll have the other two, and we'll be happy.
Yeah.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So there is a sweet, sweet person named Blossom.
Blossom? I like that name.
Yeah. I guess I said person. It's not, well, anyway. Blossom. She lost her husband a couple years ago, right?
Goodness.
And where she lives is out at this cemetery.
What? That's...
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's kind of weird. Blossom lost her husband, but she lives at a cemetery.
She does live at it. Well, somebody's got to take care of the grounds, Brian.
I guess nobody's arguing back at you. So.
She lives out by the pond.
All right.
at this cemetery, and Blossom has just been super sad the last couple of years.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, since her husband Bud passed on.
Bud.
I mean, Blossom and
Bud
Bud.
and Blossom.
Right? Can you get any cuter than that? You actually can, because Blossom is a goose.
Oh,
She's a goose.
Goodness. Okay.
So the cemetery, who has become very fond of Blossom, knew she was sad, and they took out a personal ad for her. And in the personal ad, it was like, lonely widow is seeking companionship, and your life will be full of adventure, basically.
Yeah.
And so someone got in touch with the personal ad, and that someone is Frankie and his family. Frankie and Blossom ended up going on a blind date.
Okay.
And it was love at first sight. Love at first honk.
Love at first honk. Okay. All right.
And so now they are prepared to start making a life together, and they are inseparable.
Oh my goodness. And are they living at the cemetery as well?
They are living, I think he was probably a little like, really? Like, you don't want to live where I
taking it to
live?
the cemetery?
Right? Like, what is going on with this? And then he saw the pond and how well it's kept, and, he likes hanging out there. So for love, Frankie will do anything.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Well, this is a way to get you out of the kitchen. The Van Cleve family, Selena is the mama, and they were building a new house.
Selena, I like that name.
I do. I'm like, oh my goodness. So they are building a new house. They're laying out the plans, and they asked the kids input. They wanted, and so what do the kids do? They're like, I want this, I want this, I want to slide in the house. You want to slide in the house? Well,
how old are the kids,
like 8, 11-ish, so they're a little younger. And so
a slide in
the house.
Okay.
So they knew that they were going to have like a playroom in the basement. They were going to make it sort of a playroom. And so they thought, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. And I love that they have fun this way. So they have this huge island that they're building in the middle of the kitchen. This is a gorgeous house, by the way. It's a huge house.
Oh my God.
So underneath the cabinets, like the island, is a slide that leads to the playroom.
You're kidding me.
Like, are you kidding? Mom and Dad, you're amazing.
So they go through the cabinet, they go down the slide, and it takes them into the playroom.
And it's like a tube. It's a tube slide.
Okay.
And so they're protected, I guess, from the cabinet.
Oh, you mean it's like
whatever.
one of those metal slides that's heated up to about 912 degrees?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I feel like this one is probably like lined with silk or something, because it's just such a nice house. But yes, so now, I mean, what a conversation started when all the kids are going to want to come over to this house.
What you do is when you get somebody and somebody's over and they don't know about it, and your kid's like acting up, you open it up and just like throw them down there.
You're mean.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Even my mama the other day, my mom was like, I can't believe none of them big shoe companies going to help that boy out. That boy's Eric. Remember the story from the other day? 14 years old. He's like 6'10", a freshman in school, and he's got a size 22 shoe.
I can't even imagine. Sometimes I'll put on my son's size 13 and a half to take the dogs out, and I feel like I'm wearing 2 canoes on my feet. So 22.
I know, and he was outgrowing them. He needed a size 23, a size 24, and they couldn't find him. It was going to cost like $1,500 to $3,000 a pair, and they were desperate. So they reached out on social media. And some companies have stepped up.
Oh, I'm so glad, because this kid, you know what it's like. You want kicks like your friends.
Yes.
You want to have some hip, cool shoes.
Yeah.
And then it's not because, you can't go get them. Like, you've got the money. You just can't find them.
Well, I mean, but they didn't even have that money.
Well,
I mean,
they did, because it was
custom make those shoes.
Yeah.
So Under Armour has stepped up, and they said, we're in rarefied air here because this is the biggest foot we've ever scanned. But they're going to work on his football cleats because he couldn't even wear cleats. And he sprained his ankle. He got hurt last year because he's had these yellow pair of Nikes he's been wearing forever. So Under Armour's headed up his way. Then Puma stepped up and said, hey, we're going to come, and there's no reason shoes should cost that much for him. we're going to just do a mold for his feet, and we're going to make some shoes for him as well. So both of them are coming within the next couple of weeks to his home, and it'll take like 4 to 8 weeks to get the shoes back. And then there's an Italian company, Mari, maybe, or something like that.
For dress shoes.
For dress shoes, so he can have them for his graduation and dances, and then in the future for his wedding. But I love what the mom said. The mom started a Facebook group because there's all these people started reaching out to her, and just the love and support she got. And so I think it's called Big Shoe Network on Facebook, because parents even of kids that have like a size 15 or more are having a hard time finding their shoes, and she wants to help other families out as well. And I love what she said. I would love to give that same feeling to another parent. It feels like an anvil has been lifted off my heart.
Look at that. And she's helping other parents in the same situation.
Yes. Eric, he's got some kicks coming his way.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
At this restaurant, saw this sign that said, "Life is short, eat dessert first." It's Rob and Lizz in the morning on his radio. I'm Brian for Rob.
I feel like that should be my motto. Look, so scientists are saying this is where technology is going, could possibly go. Some scientists are trying to replace ovens, stoves, microwaves, any cooking apparatus.
Why is that?
Because they think 3D technology is going to take place of those things. So they decided to do some testing.
How are we cooking up pizza rolls? How are we cooking the hot dogs?
You're going to 3D print them. I don't get it. I don't understand that technology at all. But they decided they were going to start with cheesecake. Why are you messing with cheesecake? So what they have done...
Okay, well, wait just a second, because you can see us on his radio TV.
Yeah.
Is that what they trying to get me to eat?
Yes.
That picture?
Well, it doesn't look... It could be a pumpkin cheesecake, because the cheesecake in the picture that Brian was referring to is kind of an orangish brown, like a burnt orange type of a color.
Yeah.
And it looks like
very
there's
appetizing. Burnt orange.
So it actually doesn't look bad, but it's 3D printed. So I'm saying that's not organic. I'm saying that is not... from...
Not plant-based, huh?
It's not plant-based. Like, it's...
It come out of some plant.
Right? There's nothing farm to table about this at all. And so I don't think... The scientists that are trying to push the 3D technology for replacing our food, I think, barking up the wrong tree.
It's okay. Just a survey around the room. Ninja, would you try 3D printing cheesecake?
No.
Jake?
I might.
I would say that Jake is not... He likes to experiment with food.
That boy's adventurous.
He is adventurous. But I don't know about... Is it going to taste like cream cheese, or is it going to taste like cardboard? And I don't know. I've never seen anything 3D printed. The 3D printing houses that can be put together in a month. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But something that you're ingesting into your body, I have a real hard time with.
Yes. I can see the new radio feature on his radio now. Liz's 3D printed bakery.